treated, like this stuff. This is some really nice biker leather. These, in fact, were pieces that I used to make this pair of riding chaps for a guy for his bike. Really good, and trust me, I've tried it. When you lay your bike down at 20, 30 miles an hour, 40, 50 miles an hour, it takes concrete real good.
Hello?
911, what's your emergency?
House of Insanity, table or booth.
No.
Number you had dialed.
Did you tell them about the veggie tan?
Yeah, we already did that. That was my first time.
Isn't that awesome?
These guys giggle because they already sat through that.
I love that smell.
And then you can get down into...
Don't go nowhere, come back.
Give me a panel at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning at convention. You will see how crazy I truly am. Then you get down into your suedes. Well, it's coming from everywhere. Your different suedes, you get different thicknesses of your suedes. You can't ever have enough of this stuff. We use it, you'll see on some of my suedes. I think it's all falling off. We've used them so much.
Where's your whole country? Did you bring it? I kind of need that for the thing.
I don't flipping know. The other thing we do with a lot of the suede, especially you can get, because you can get all the way down to getting buffalo still with your suede. The buffalo is really thick to work with, but what it does work really well for is taking your leather tools and wrapping your handles in them. It's like your hole punch and stuff. It's really nice and spongy, and it gives you a really good handle to work with on your tools.
This is really well worn, but this is an example.
Yeah.
Did that, what, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, that's a year and a half worth of using it.
Use it
That's
every day.
buffalo suede that I put on my hammer. We're gonna get into tools here in just a second, and I'll tell you a trick with the hammers that Tanny doesn't want you to know. But yeah, that worked out. And then we'll get into tools, because I brought every bloody tool I own. Oh, most of them. Anybody got any questions so far?
Where's the blood?
Stand right there, and we're getting ready to show you.
Ruby.
It smells like brain.
Very light. Mystic.
And then again, when you're shaping your leather, no real big huge secret. You get it really wet, tack it down. You'll see the holes on this one. You tack it down, get it over whatever the mold is. Like if you're going to do a cell phone case, we'll actually sit there and carve out our cell phone case in a block of wood. So we've got enough, looks same reproduction of the cell phone, and soak your leather. You cannot get leather too wet. Keep in mind, guys, all leather is a skin, okay? And it's dried out. So when you go to work with the leather, hot water, run it through the hot water, and then take and roll it. And what you're trying to do is, you're trying to re-moisten the cells inside the leather and get them to reopen up so they'll take the tooling or whatever it is you're working and doing on. And don't ever work on dry leather, period, okay? Always get it wet. If you're going to work with it, it's called casing the leather. If you're going to do a really extensive tooling pattern on a piece of leather, something to that effect, soak it down really well. Then you cannot get it too wet, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to get it wet. It's soaking wet. Take a plastic bag, slide it in the plastic bag. Some people put them under glass for 24 hours, and then you just let it sit. Because you want it to sit in the cells to absorb all that water so it's rehydrated when you go to cut it and tooling it. If you get a scrap piece of leather, try tooling on it dry and see what the difference between that and having one that's been cased for 24 hours. You'll see a huge, huge difference in how it takes the tooling. But if you're going to be doing a shaping like this, you get these things dripping, soaking wet, tack it down, lay it over whatever the piece is that you're going to be molding it to. And then one trick that we use is we don't get the industrial heat guns because you will fry your leather. We know we tried. your significant other's hair dryer, especially if you're like me and have no hair, borrow theirs without them knowing about it, and sit there very slowly with a hair dryer and dry out, especially if if you're down to crunch time, you've got 2 days till the con, and you're trying to get this really cool piece of leather done before you leave for the convention. You can speed up the process by sitting there with a hair dryer and pulling the moisture out of it so you can get to a point where you can work with it.
Would a food dehydrator work too?
I know we haven't tried it yet.
I have one.
Experiment time.
It might take a little longer because with a hairdryer.
No, you can crank it up to like 150 degrees on a food dehydrator if you have a good one.
I'll have to try it.
And it actually has a fan that rotates
Yeah.
through.
The
other
best
thing is
best
when
type
you're-
are the tray ones
Reason why
and the fan in the back.
I might have
I
tried
like
a
to
toaster
use
oven.
the hairdryer is you have a lot more control. Your leather's going to vary because if you notice when you get a full hide, there's parts that are softer and a lot more malleable, a lot looser than others that are a lot more rigid. Well, you might end up with that in a piece. So the parts that are a lot more compact and hard and everything, you have to dry out a lot more because they retain more water. So.
This makes me really uncomfortable.
When I used to have my-
I think I'm going to stick my boot right in the middle of it.
When I used to have my
Cedric
leather
be
shop,
nibble, Cedric be quick, Cedric smash the soundboard.
when I used to have my leather shop, I built a convection dryer. And what a convection dryer is what you're doing is you're putting a fan at the bottom with a heating coil. And what it does is all your air is actually being circulated, and your hot air is blowing up and through your, and it just it convects the hot air. And what I did is I had a heating dryer element, and my heating dryer element was above my fan. And what I did is I put my, because I was drying sometimes 15, 20 pieces at a time. The other thing is with your pressed block piece, I built boxes, whole boxes out of a single piece. And I put my block in on the bottom, and I built a corresponding block on the top. It gave me sharp edges. When
It's like, it shapes it basically and cuts it right.
so it looked like it had been clean cut out of a single block of wood. And so I could press on the top and the bottom and just press it all the way in. And
Where's that one piece? It's basically like, yeah, the forms that they do for like police pouches and stuff.
and it gives you ammunition boxes. But it gave me very sharp edges, and I made the munition boxes for the Confederate forces.
It's pretty nifty. We have a couple of them. I'm not sure. Like we have one for a handcuffs case, and then some for magazines, right?
But this
Magazines.
is, there's a trick to it. One of the tricks to it is, again, you're using urine. Add just a slight bit of acid to your water, and it breaks the leather back down a little bit.
Do that at your table, not mine.
The shop is small enough you can smell it pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I usually did that outside. And it actually breaks it back down, and you leave it soak for about 15, 20 minutes that way in a warm solution, and then when you're pressing it back down, it actually breaks the leather.
I wonder if that adds value. I wonder if it adds value.
This piece of leather was
I
this time, like,
usually
I feel like
rinse my
I can't drink it now. I'll snort it.
well, then you would clean it with the like your Aussie solution again just after you get done.
That's a whole new kind of autographing right
Oh,
there.
That's one.
Yeah.
Two.
For those of you who don't know, the crew has come up with a little game. It works much better when there's alcoholic beverages involved. But every time the word quintessential is said, somebody has a drink. Quintessentially.
It's anytime you say it.
It's anytime I say it. Alright, into where you are, your entire paychecks are going to go once you get into leatherworking.
That took a...
Yeah, this particular pouch right here And this isn't even all of them, just to give you an idea. And that's not even all the tools. We're still getting our hands on tooling tools. All right, on your hammers. Hammer. We'll start with hammers. Hammers. If I have hammers, this is what happens when you don't let me sleep. All right, on your mallets. When you go down to Tandy, you can get the $2, $3 cheapo wood mallet. If all you're going to be doing is 1 or 2 pieces of leather for your cosplay competition coming up, hunky-dory cool. Okay, you guys, any of you sit in my class, saw the little wood sheet mallets that we have for the class. If you're going to be doing anything more than that, go ahead and spend the money. Go down to Tandy, get one of the good mallets. The reason I say Tandy all the time, guys, they pretty much have the monopoly on actually having stores where you can walk in, grab what you need, and walk out. If you have the time to do some shopping around, there are other companies online where you can get leather working tools.
There's a place here in San Antonio, actually there's 2 shops, the Leather Factory.
Leather Factory is starting to actually make a comeback, so I'm like,
They have
woo!
everything, all different types of hides, whatever you need.
The leather factories are going. The only problem with leather factories for a while, they shrunk their company back down and they pulled completely out of Houston. I think there's 1 left in Dallas and 2 here in San Antonio.
There's 2 in San Antonio.
The leather factory was the main competitor for Tandy, and now they're starting to actually spread back out and get a little bit bigger. Tandy doesn't pay me, so they can burn, huh?
I said I co-signed my checks to them.
Yeah, pretty much. That's where we are with Tandy. We just here's my paycheck. One thing I don't want you to know when you go get your hammers, after a while, these are the rawhide mallets. This mallet is, about 17 years old. And what they'll start to do is actually use them a lot. Is they will start to mushroom on the sides. That or if your dog, if you leave it on the floor. This is rawhide. Bandit's not going to know the difference between the rawhide bone you bought him the night before and your hammer. And then he looks at you like, what?
To him, they're both delicious.
Yeah. So now he's so shell-shocked he'll never even eat rawhide anymore.
Have you considered pissing on it?
Yeah, right? Yeah, it wouldn't matter with my dog. He just pissed right back. He's my dog. What you'll see is after a while, the rawhide, just like the leather, will start to dry out after time, and it'll start to separate. And plus, these ends will roll over. What Tandy doesn't want you to know is they want you to go down and pay